Greetings and welcome in. The sound is much better. No popping this week. Excellent. How old am I? I am 43. Wait, what? I just joined. You're in your 40s. My flabbers are gasted. Yes, I'm 43. I just turned 43 in April. What's my gym routine to be in such a good shape in my 40s? I mean, I generally work out 6 days a week and I rotate between leg day and like abs. I'm curious about the average age of your fans. I'm a 40-year-old fanboy. That's awesome. I am also curious about the average age of my fans. Am I secretly married, but I don't tell the fans to keep the fantasy going? It's certainly no secret, especially if you've been on my, other sites. What's my stance on AI? More and more models make fake pictures of themselves, and even if they disclose, it is annoying. They are scammers making up everything. So my stance on AI, so I think is supposed to be progress. Like I see it as an evolutionary tool. Unfortunately, it's in the hands of the wrong people. And as long as it's in the hands of the wrong people, it's not going to be great, right? It's going to be like Skynet. It's going to be the worst shit you can imagine. As far as like models using AI, like I know this is probably not the right take, but I personally don't see why it matters. I don't use it on mine because, I just, like, why? Because I can create my own pictures. But, if they're using it on themselves, they're using themselves. So I don't really, see how it's fake because it is still them. But, I don't know. I don't know why they don't just make the pictures themselves if they've done it all the time. But I also get like having to like what social media has turned into and like the way that it just wants you to continually pump out new material is like insane. Like, it's they just want you to continually be posting. And it's either you're gonna have one of two things. Like you're gonna continually pump out content, which I'm like at this point where it's like I have to put out so much content that the quality starts to suffer. Like a lot of the stuff that I put out, I'm not really happy with because I think that the looks are too fast and everything just needs to be so fast. I don't have time to think about it. I don't have time to set up the outfits. It's just like pumping content out continually, and quality suffers when you do that. And yeah, I guess they think using AI is better. I don't agree with people using AI, but I think that's probably the least of our problems, right? Like models using AI their pictures when there's like much worse things happening with the use of AI, right? Surveillance, right? Drones, etc. AI art has killed the fan art space in the illustration community. For sure, especially when it's just like like I said, just all AI art. Then it's just, and then you question what's real and what's not, and it makes real art less impressive because you're used to seeing like really overly like complicated pieces, and it's sad. It is sad. And trust me, for like models, like I'm having to compete now with like literally perfect women because they're literally CGI. So how can a real person live up to someone who's like symmetrically perfect and everything because it's literally a computer? So we're all cooked. I can't imagine a woman with less defects that doesn't immediately look plastic, but I guess the average person is okay with plastic. I'm pretty okay with plastic. I like body mods, and body mods of every kind. Yeah, cosplayers are having to compete with AI profiles too. Models, cosplayers, everyone. And then it's even more irritating because I know that they're saying that they're trying to crack down on AI profiles on social media, and I polish up my images pretty well because I just like the way it looks to have like polished images. If I'm doing photography, I want it to be like picture perfect. So I don't know if it's like a lot of my stuff trips it thinking that it's AI or what, but it's a whole mess, the AI business. My Mohawk period was short but noticed by many people. The current one, or the one in the past, because I even feel like back when I was doing the Mohawk in like 2004 to 2006 probably, it was kind of brief. And then because I've always done like a lot of different hairstyles and a lot of different styles, but everyone always remembers me for the death rock stuff specifically, which is fine because I mean, if I would like have to say who I am and what I'm really into, it would be death rock styles, it would be death rock music because that's what I grew up listening to, and I like have a huge passion for the scene. But I just think it's funny that I'm so it's like my looks are so synonymous with that when of all like the work I've done over like the past 15 years, the Mohawk has probably only been like a portion of that work. But it's good. People should keep thinking about the Mohawk on me. Because the bummer thing for me is like when I do the Mohawk, I feel like people don't really receive it very well. Like it's not. I would always hope that I'm gonna do it, and then everyone's gonna be like really happy that I did it, and it's usually not that way. And then right, yeah, make it a goal to cut a Mohawk back in. Do I like Typo Negative? I do. I like Typo Negative. I saw them live back in maybe it was like 2003 or maybe 2. I got to meet Peter Steele. They invited me back onto the bus, and I like got this thing signed for my friend because she like loves them. And then I yeeted out of there. Yeeted out of there real quick, you know, because you don't want to be on a tour bus for too long. Why don't you want to be on a tour bus for too long? Is there a story? I mean, everybody knows what happens on tour buses. And the only reason why women get invited onto them. What's been the hardest part of modeling? I think just trying to keep up with things because I've been doing it for like a really long time. So it's like trends change and then you have to like figure things out all over again and stuff like that to like stay relevant. And then of course, you know, they changed the landscapes of the platforms, how automation works, stuff like that. So then you got to like figure that stuff out. It's just like constantly trying to ride the waves, to stay relevant, to not get your stuff removed and stuff like that. I remember you commenting on not liking your face because it's too angular. Am I struggling with body image? I mean, I don't like, there are things like I like angular features. It's that everyone else doesn't. Like most men do not like angular features on women. They like 12-year-old faces on women. And, you know, I have a very, very far face from looking like a 12-year-old because I don't have like the cheeks like, you know, but that's how it is. There's nothing I can really do about that. So that's why I don't struggle with body image because what the fuck am I supposed to do? There's nothing to do. Just got to deal with it. I hope streaming isn't too bothersome for you. Your schedule seems really full. I'm hoping that eventually I can transition more to streaming. So if I end up doing that, then, you know, I'm doing that more instead. I'll just have to see like what everybody wants. But with the way that the current climate is, the current political climate and, you know, adult content and stuff like that, the ID verification, all of that stuff, I don't really see a future in adult content. So it might be sooner than later that I'll be going full-time streaming. What got me into the Gothic scene? I mean, it's kind of funny because I was just talking about this last night because I made Attila watch the Rocky Horror Picture Show with me for like the millionth time. But I would say like when I was like 13 or 14, my older sister played the Rocky Horror Picture Show for me and I loved it instantly. And I was really like obsessed with musicals and like all of that stuff. And then I think when I was like maybe 14, she showed me the Marilyn Manson album and like I was super into Marilyn Manson then. I was like 14. I think what's it called? The Smells Like Children came out, that album, and yeah. So then I was kind of like a huge Mansonite when I was in middle school and high school. And then when I was in high school, I kind of started listening to goth compilations, and that's when I discovered I had the goth box, and I discovered Sex Gang Children. And I got like really into death rock, especially. And yeah, I've just been doing that ever since. I started going to the goth clubs and goth show. I mean, I've been going to goth shows before I was allowed to get into the goth clubs because the clubs here are 18 and up. And so I would go to shows. And yeah, it's funny because I was thinking like yesterday when we were watching the Rocky Horror Picture Show, I kind of realized that I think it is stuff like this, movies like the Rocky Horror Picture Show, that scared the living shit out of conservatives. But I think it only scared the living shit out of them because they liked it, right? And it scared the living shit out of them, especially because when they hear something like, don't dream it, be it, it just really scares them because they wish. And then there are people out here who are being it, and it scares them. Literally watching Lilith play Diablo 4. Watching Lilith play with herself. By the way, if anyone's wondering, Chaos Costumes, she made this very awesome cowl for me. She's a 3D printer, and she makes very, very amazing work. So if you're looking to get any props done, if you know people who need to get props done, I would suggest her. Chaos Costumes, she's really great. That's that.